voiding the immune system and you know, preventing anything from getting rid of them. And some of the pharmaceutical drugs are pretty good at getting rid of funguses, but the problem is you take the drug, it gets rid of it, but then it comes back a few weeks later.
Right.
So, you know, that's ideal for the drug industry, I suppose. But from our point of view, we want to try and keep people healthy as long as possible. And the Allicin is able to kill fungal species easier than any other type of infectious organism. So we feel there's a big chance here to help people with Candida, because it is a major problem, certainly in the United States anyway.
Are you familiar with Perrigo? Have you heard of that?
I have, yes. Yes,
Okay.
that's right.
Has anyone been treated for that with allergen?
We haven't done any controlled studies on it,
Right.
but I mean, one of the things that we get is we do get a lot of testimonials from people who say that they've taken the product for various conditions,
Right.
and that they have been successful in them. Now, you know, I can't argue with a testimonial, but what I like to have is data to prove it. So, you know, we're looking at all sorts of different areas of disease where we know that Allicin will be beneficial, and that Allicin and the new Allicin gel, Allogel, will be very beneficial for topical problems. And certainly there are lots of different areas where we will be going in the next 3, 4, 5 years.
Right now we're going to have a website and a phone number where people can get the allergen.
Great.
Up on the show, but also if you want to mention your website where they can just get more information.
To be honest, it's probably easier if they go straight to the allergen website. There'll be lots of information up there.
garlicrx.com.
That's it. Yes,
Yeah.
I mean it's easier if you go through that route, because I don't have a very easy domain name to give out, and this one has all the information that people will need before they make a decision as to whether they want to try it or not. I mean, I give a guarantee to people that usually within 2 or 3 weeks of taking this type of product, stabilized Allicin, even if you're pretty fit and healthy, you will notice a difference, because you'll feel that you're a little bit stronger, you're a little bit more healthier, and that you feel you can prevent infection.
Is this your first visit to the U.S. or?
No, I've been many times actually, which is very good. I mean, if you told me 5 or 6 years ago would I have come to the United States, I would have said probably not. But I've managed to come nearly 25 times in the last 5 years, and you know, most of that has been to do with looking at stabilized Allicin. So I'm very grateful for that, and I think you have a wonderful country. But I particularly like Nashville because as I said, I'm a huge country music fan, and I'm going to the Grand Ole Opry later on this trip. So I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people at the Grand Ole Opry would benefit from allergen.
Well, I tell you, if I could sing, I'd be up there on the stage, but sadly I can't.
Well, maybe someone could do a song about allergen.
Well, that would be great, if it were possible.
So, this is basically a cure or a treatment for the common cold and everything else on up, or is the common cold harder to treat than?
Well, because it's called a common cold, obviously it's very common. I mean, on average, every person on the planet suffers from 2 to 5 colds per year. Now, I personally haven't had a cold in 9 years, so somebody out there is getting a lot more than 2, 3, 4 or 5 colds. It's very good for simple infections like the cold. Most colds people get through without too much of a problem, but sometimes they crash your immune system and you really suffer. Certainly a product like Allergen is going to prevent that from happening, so it's good for elderly people to take every day, anybody with a compromised immune system, even young children. I mean, if you think about how many children get infection at school, you know, they go to school and they come home with a cold. It's a very common thing, and certainly they can also benefit from going on to a simple natural product like Allergen. And at the other end of the spectrum, you know, we can cure some of the nastiest, most pernicious bacterial infections like M.R.S.A. that are known to man. And so I think, you know, the next 5 years is going to be really exciting in terms of what we can do to show that Allicin and Allergen are really, really great products.
What's your final goal with Allicin? I mean, what are you trying to achieve?
Gosh, that's a great question. I think for my business partners and I, we say that if you look after the patient, the profits will follow. So our whole ethos is to research, look after our customers, our patients, make sure that we help them, and if that happens, which it is, then everything will be great for everybody. Everybody will benefit, and eventually it'll be in hopefully every home across the world, which is what it should be, really.
Have you had a lot of resistance from mainstream medical circles about the allergen?
I would have to say yes and no.
Okay.
Certainly some doctors are very anti-natural treatments, and they don't believe they work. They like to see data. They like to see evidence, which is why we've concentrated on generating data and evidence for those sorts of doctors.
Sure.
Having said that, I've always been very pleased with the response I've had in America from both naturopathic doctors and MDs. They've been very supportive. They've been very encouraging and willing to try the stuff. And once you try it and you realise that it works, you're more than happy to recommend it to your colleagues and, of course, your patients. So I would say, on the whole, the medical profession are beginning to embrace it, but certainly in the UK it's a bit slower because we're a little bit more conservative, perhaps, and they like to see as much data as possible before they'll say, yes, I think a natural product can help you.
Right. Well, Peter, it's been an extreme pleasure to have you on the show. Thanks for being our guest on Mystery Us.
Thank you so much. It's been a delight. Thank you.